everybody, it is Melanie Mitro and Katie Ersta, and we are the hosts of the Make Chic Happen podcast. And this podcast is for you, friend. We're going to dive into the skills, mindset, and systems you need to build a successful social media presence, and it supports your business goals. All right, and I am Melanie Mitro, one of the co-hosts, and I have left my full-time career in early intervention to be a stay-at-home mom, and I'm seriously craving something more. All right, and I'm Katie. I am a stage 4 cancer survivor. I absolutely love all things storytelling, and I was a teacher who truly just wanted to get the groceries paid for. Never in a million years did I see what would happen with this business. Oh my gosh, and here we are, 10 years later, and we have built multi-million-dollar businesses from our laptop, from our kitchen tables, basically anywhere that you have Wi-Fi. And the cool part is now we get to teach other people how to do the same. So just 2 female entrepreneurs who are wives, moms, and we're also besties who want to take you on the journey right alongside us to help you build a business that you love and a life that you desire. All right, so come on in, check out today's episode. Hey everybody, it is Melanie Mitro and Alysa Gumto from the Make Chic Happen podcast. And today we are going to talk all about the ways that you actually increase your reach and engagement on Instagram. It's kind of a hot topic. People,
it is.
Right? They show up in our DMs all the time saying, you know, I'm creating content and it's not getting out there to the right people. Following isn't growing, people are not purchasing from me, and so we're gonna really dive in today and talk about the 3 just key areas that as a business owner, you wanna make sure that you're focusing on, you're utilizing so that you are seeing your social media support your business growth and your business goals, right? All right, so let's talk about the first one. You wanna kick it off?
Yeah, so we're talking about all things reels, and I first want to define what an Instagram reel even is. So it is a short form of content, meaning it's a video that's less than 60 seconds. So anything less than that is what is considered to be a reel on Instagram. And reels are definitely something that are up and coming even more than what they have been before. Instagram is really pushing them out. So we really want to talk about how you as a business owner can leverage Instagram reels. And I'm going to be using Melanie's account as an example. So Melanie talks a lot about her anti-inflammatory journey. And with that, not only do you see just static posts of her, you know, let's just say just of her, or 2, we can also have reels about her anti-inflammatory journey. And as someone who has followed Melanie for years and even creeped on her before I even clicked the follow button, that's even how I found the job, that's how I connected with her. So I know what she likes to share about. So in terms of reels, Melanie, when you do post a lot about your anti-inflammatory journey, specifically on reels, what type of reels are you creating and why are you creating them specifically to the anti-inflammatory journey?
Yeah. So like you said, typically in the past, it would have just been a static picture. I would have taken a picture. I would have talked about, 5 ways that you start your anti-inflammatory journey. But because I know that right now Instagram is favoring the Reels feature. So when I say favoring, it means that they're actually showing it to more people organically. Also, because more people are using the Reels platform to consume content, you have a higher likelihood of being found or seen or connected with other people searching the same things. So I would take those 5 tips on how to start your anti-inflammatory journey, and then I would put it to trending music, or I would maybe point to the 5 different points, right? Or I would have 5 different photos that I've put together in a photo collage that share that anti-inflammatory journey. So I'm basically saying the same thing, but the way I'm delivering it is different. It's not the static post, it's now an actual reel, and the caption still does the same thing, right? But what I'm trying to do is I'm paying attention to the trend and I'm going where the trend is. And I find that this is a hard thing for people to do, is change, right?
Yes.
We don't like change. And a lot of people still, I know, that are listening to this podcast right now, maybe you're like rolling your eyes thinking, I just don't want to do reels. Like I don't have time for it. I don't want to learn something new. I don't want to put in the energy. But if you're not willing to evolve and change, you're going to miss out on organic reach. And organic means you don't have to pay for it. So why wouldn't you go where you know there's an organic opportunity that increases your likelihood of having success within the platform, right?
Yes. And can we go back to how you said, you made the comment about trending music.
Okay.
And I know this is something that people are like, well, how do I even know what's trending?
Yeah.
How does someone know whether or not a sound is trending? What is your piece of advice to figure that out?
Okay, so you have to do a little bit of research on your own. So when you click on the Reels tab, when you're inside of the Instagram platform and you start to watch Reels, right? And as you swipe up, where the music goes across and you can see the music, if you see an arrow, it's like a squiggly like up arrow, that just means it's a trending sound, which means a lot of people are using it and it's popular. And so you wanna like jump on the trend. So as soon as you see that trending sound, you want to use that, because again, more people are searching that. And even like Instagram Reels filters by sound. So if you listen to one specific sound, all of a sudden what shows up is that same sound. So it's going to show you more of that same kind of content. Again, that's another way to be found and, you know, be searched basically.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely leverage Reels if you're not already. And there's so much information we could really share on Reels, but that's just a little snippet of what's to come in the future. So stay tuned for that.
We're actually going to do a deeper dive in next week's podcast, where we are going to go deeper into Instagram Reels and that specific one. So you're going to want to make sure you come back if you're like, ooh, you kind of just scratched the surface.
Yes.
And we just finished doing our free 5-day Instagram Reels challenge, where we basically were teaching everybody exactly how to roll out Reels. So you'll have to check that out. I think we'll link it in the show notes. You can still get in there and check out some of the content as well, even though we just did the group last week. Okay, so let's talk about the second thing. So the second way that you can really cultivate a connection with your ideal target client on Instagram is hashtags, right? And a lot of people, there's just this great debate about like using the right hashtag. So what's kind of I'm curious what's your stance. I know it, but I want you to tell everybody, like, what is your stance on hashtags?
You do know it. I kind of went on a tangent yesterday with someone about it.
Yeah.
But yes, when it comes to hashtags, number one, you want to make sure that they're in the caption versus the first comment. Now, if you are someone who is like Melanie or like Katie, where your captions tend to be longer, just throw them in the first comment. That's not a big deal. But Instagram has come out stating that when the hashtags are actually in the caption itself, it's more searchable. So it's a proven fact from Instagram. I'm not just saying it. So that's number one. And number two, when you are deciding which hashtags to use, there's a couple different things I want you to take into consideration. Number one, if you are at, let's say, a coffee place. So there's a local coffee place in the Pittsburgh area called Generosta. And let's say that's where I was, that's where I posted my picture of. I would want to make sure that I was tagging Generosta in the comments,
right.
In the hashtag, I would also want to make sure that I'm tagging, Pittsburgh Coffee Shop or Wexford Coffee Shop, so that people who are searching those hashtags, then they stumble upon my account if they're not already following me. So number one, location base totally matters in terms of if you are in a place or a city, wherever you're at. So that's number one. Number two is you really want to make sure that the hashtags are actually describing what your caption's about. Nothing's worse when I'm like doing our Instagram audits that are my favorite things ever. And I'm looking at people's hashtags, and the hashtags that they're using have nothing to do with the caption itself. So I'm going to go back to Melanie's anti-inflammatory example. Her hashtags should be anti-inflammatory journey, anti-inflammatory foods, anything that's describing that caption, what she's sharing about, that's where you want to have your hashtags be about. Also, too, if you talk a lot that you're like a boy mom, you can even have those types of hashtags too, that all just align with your caption. If you're still unsure, dissect your caption, pick it apart and be like, okay, what keywords am I repeating? If you're giving tips, use those to your advantage. So location, and again, make sure it's about the caption itself. And two, make sure that the hashtags you are using are ones that already have like 10 million, other people that have tagged it. Try to really find and utilize hashtags that have a smaller number of uses That way it's easier for your content to be found. Now, I do want to say, and this is like my big thing that I really want you to pause and listen to, is that you cannot rely strictly on hashtags only. That's not going to bring you all the sales, all the money, and you're going to be making it rain. It's not going to work like that. I'm just like, it's not. So you really want to make sure that you're utilizing the hashtags in a specific way. And that's really what we're going to be diving into, which is our next tip in terms of engaging. So I'm just going to kind of keep on going if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
And basically, so now we have these hashtags. We have, we're talking about the anti-inflammatory journey. So now if I was Melanie and if I was engaging, I would recommend to Melanie, hey, Melanie, make sure that you're actually engaging with those hashtags. And what that means is Melanie's now going to be clicking on anti-inflammatory journey, and she's going to go through by finding other pieces of content that people also use the hashtag anti-inflammatory journey by liking their posts, leaving genuine comments, not like, hey, come join me and, do the diet I'm doing. No, that's not what we're doing. We're just, leaving comments that are like genuine, like, oh, you're on an anti-inflammatory journey too. What's some of your favorite accounts to follow? Anything like that to actually get people to respond back to you so they're not like, oh, this girl's trying to sell me something. So use them in that way. And I know you have a good story to share about like engaging during your like early days. So I think that's really good to share about too.
Yeah, so hashtags are great, right? They really are a good lead-in. You're going to use them to search and find your ideal target client. Also, other people may search those when they're looking for resources. So it's a great way to establish eye contact. And when I talk about engaging with other people, I like that you said, click on the hashtag. If it's anti-inflammatory, we click on that. We engage on people that maybe are just starting on their journey, right? Or other experts in the industry that I can get value from. But when I'm engaging, I'm very specific about that. And I want to encourage you to be the same way, because I kind of made a mistake early on. And I hope that me sharing this story will help prevent you from making the same mistake. And I grew my business on Facebook initially. And so again, it was always, you have to go find new people. And so I just sat down one day and went through, I'll give you the example of my high school, right? So my graduating class, and I just went friend request, friend request, friend request, friend request. And just without even looking at who the person was, I, in my mind, thought it doesn't matter what kind of person is, it's just you want volume. You just want a number of people. But what happened was I had a lot of people that became my friends on Facebook that we had absolutely nothing in common. All right. So it wasn't a good fit, and they were most likely going to unfriend me because we didn't speak a language that was really cohesive. Or I had people that were kind of outside my target audience asking for support. And so I support mainly women. And then all of a sudden I had a lot of guys coming in for the health and wellness back, 10 years ago. And I was like, well, wait, but I have all women in a group. I don't know how to support you. And so I found over time, I'm like, you know what? I was way too broad. I just wanted volume of people. And so it caused me to have a lot of inactive followers, a lot of people that I just really didn't resonate with. And it also took up space, because on Facebook, on a personal account, you only get a certain amount of friends you can have. And so it put me in a tricky situation where I had to like unfriend people, and it made me feel very uncomfortable, and I don't like to do that. On Instagram, I will also say, and I will like put my tail between my legs and admit that I bought followers back in the day, right? You would pay. It would be like follow for follows. If you pay $25, you'll be guaranteed X amount of followers. But a lot of times they were fake followers, they were inactive users, they were people that weren't even in a country that I could serve, and provide a service to. And so what happened is my follower count went way up, but my engagement went way down. And so it just looked like I had a thriving account, but I really didn't. And so if I can give you any piece of advice from that experience, it's no matter how sweet it sounds, right? I feel like we should start singing a song. I'm looking at Katie over off camera right now because I know she's thinking, right? She's going to sing. But anyways, you don't want to get sucked into that, oh, this sounds like a shiny object, a quick fix, like a fast ticket to success. It takes time. You want to sit down and you want to do what Alyssa just said. I'm going to search that hashtag and I'm going to set the timer for a half hour and I'm going to engage. I'm going to leave comments. I'm going to follow people. I'm going to comment on their stories, and I'm going to just start to create eye contact in hopes that they meet me halfway and say, oh, Melanie seems like somebody that we have a lot in common. I'm also on this same kind of journey. Let me follow her. Let me engage with her content. And then over time, a relationship builds, a trust factor. And then they may, on down the line, become a paying customer or refer somebody to me. And that's not something you can just snap your fingers and you go from engagement to customer, right? There is a length of time. So you have to show up and do engagement on a daily basis. It's one of those things. And most people will say, I'm posting on social media, I'm using hashtags. And then my third question is always going to be, but how much are you engaging? Are you engaging with the right people? And that's really the third thing that we like to call gritty work. It's not pretty, it's not glamorous, it's not creating social content, but it is the behind the scenes part of it, right?
And two, one of the things that Melanie even taught me when she was teaching me how to do it is you also want to make note of the people that you actually are engaging with. So you can actually save the accounts and the post or whatever that you're engaging with to your Instagram into a folder or a collection, whatever you choose to call it, just so you can always go back to those people and make sure that you're staying up with them and to continue to engage with them as well.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So, those are the three things that we encourage you to do that are going to really help you with engagement. So the first one is Reels, right? So Instagram Reels, and it's just in next week we'll dive more into the Reels platform. The second one is making sure you're using hashtags that are appropriate, that are specific to the photo that you are posting. And the third is making sure that you're engaging with other accounts that have similar interests. If you start doing those three things, even right now, I guarantee within the next 5 to 7 days, you're going to see a shift in your social media, in the engagement and the results that you're getting. So, all right, you guys, if you love today's episode, make sure you head on over to iTunes, leave us a rating and review. Let us know what you loved most about today's episode. Even take a screenshot and put it on your Instagram and tag us, the Make Chic Happen podcast or Chic Influencer. We always love to hear from our listeners what you loved and what you want to hear more of. All right, we'll see you guys back here for another episode. All right, so if you loved today's episode, make sure you head over to wherever you listened to the episode today and leave us a rating and review. And also, take a little screenshot and tag us on Chic Influencer. We'll feature you in our stories. Plus, we'd love to get your feedback and hear from our listeners. Yep. Until next week, let's make chic happen.